Well, football fans, it's actually been, 3 days since week 17 ended, and I'm still giddy. So the Packers are still alive. Even better, we trounced the Vikings to end not only the penultimate week of the season, but to end the 2023 calendar year. It's a great feeling, isn't it? But anyway, um, quite a few things went our way this week. Was not everything, though. Almost. I mean, the Rams almost lost to the Giants. Like I said, it's crazy. Like I said, the final weeks, December, is it can be very tricky because the teams play spoiler, they relax, they get comfortable, and that's when they play well and kind of really mess with teams who are trying to get something. Look at the Cardinals. Cardinals were outdone weeks ago. Yes, they went to Philly and stymied the Eagles. Yeah, and and I was it was crazy that how that happened. The Eagles had a 21-6 lead, and all of a sudden, gone. So they lost that game, and coupled with the Lions loss that Saturday, that was a very controversial loss. They did kind of get jobbed, but kicked the extra point. Kick the extra point. But when San Francisco's win over the Commanders, they clinched the number one seed. So the road to the NFC goes to Santa Clara. Oh boy! And also in the AFC, that's wrapped up because Baltimore completely flattened the Dolphins, 56 points. Some on Twitter were saying, well, to taste their own medicine. Now, it wasn't 70, but still. They the defense got completely destroyed. It was crazy. So, I mean, Lamar Jackson's performance got me to the championship in one of my fantasy leagues. Speaking of fantasy football, I did win one of my leagues. Yay! So, I'm in the championship in two more because I'm in two 18-week leagues, and the final week is championship week for me. But anyway, yeah, the Rams eked out that victory over the Giants. I needed them to lose. Almost happened, but it didn't. I did need Atlanta to lose, and that's where the Bears came through. I mean, they just flattened the Dirty Birds. And what else? Oh yeah, see the flatten. That's what happened to the Buccaneers. Buccaneers were one win away from clinching the South, but the Saints had other plans. Yeah, it was a crazy week, and it started with the Browns winning and reaching the playoffs, clinching the playoff spot in front of their home crowd. That had to feel good for them. Congratulations to Cleveland. And what else is there? Oh yeah, Kansas City finally won the West. Jacksonville won without Trevor Lawrence. That was against Carolina. That loss and Arizona's win locked the Panthers as the worst team in the league. As a result, for the second year in a row, the Bears won the number one pick in the draft. Wow. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That Bears team, they're gonna make some noise next year. They really are. I really think they are. that whole we own them. That might change in a few years. We're still gonna beat them, but it won't be easy. I don't think this week will be too easy, but I'll get to that later. Back to the Packers. So, how we got this chance? Seattle lost. That helped us. The Steelers, who needed to help their own cause as well, beat the Seahawks in the late window. So as a result, we got some help there. See, Seattle had the chance to control their own destiny this week, this week, but they're gonna need some assistance because we dismantled the Vikings. It was a mess. Vikings start this kid Jaron Hall. I had never heard of him, and then they started Then they had to put Nick Mullins in there because Hall was a mess. It was just messy all around. The team just had no get up and go. They were too injured, too battered. It was awful. And the Packers mollywopped on them. Joe Barry may have saved his job, at least for another week. But anyway, so the Packers with the win. We have earned the right to control our own destiny for this week coming up. All we have to do is win over the Bears, and we are in. And it's gonna be one hell of a final week. They announced the as they often do. They announced the final week schedule after Sunday Night Football ended. That game between the Packers and Vikings that ended, and here's how a good bit of it goes. Okay, for Week 18, it begins Saturday with a pair of games affecting the wild card picture in a sense, though the AFC South is affected too. The Steelers are in Baltimore to face the Ravens. The Lamarless Raiders. Lamar's going to sit. They announced that earlier today. Lamar's going to sit out because they got the number one seed. They're going to rest players. And after that, it's the Texans and the Colts playing each other. Those are Saturday games. Pittsburgh wins. They can get in if either the Bills lose, the Jags lose, or if the Colts-Texans game ends tied. Meanwhile, in the Colts-Texans game, whoever wins is in, and whoever loses is done. And whoever wins, if Jacksonville loses, wins the AFC South. Jacksonville plays Sunday in the early window in Nashville. If Jacksonville wins, they win the division, no questions asked. And of course the NFC South schedule, the NFC South games are going to be in the early window, and Tampa's still alive, New Orleans is alive, and yes, the 7-9 Falcons are still alive. We could have crazy chaos, but yeah. Oh, and the rest of the wild card picture and the NFC East will be settled in the late window. Seattle's and Arizona facing the Cardinals. Both NFC East games we played in that late window, and the Packers will host the Bears again. Win and in. And the 272nd and final game of this regular season is a battle for the AFC East. The Bills and the Dolphins will face each other for the AFC East crown. Buffalo could be playing for their season if certain other things don't work in their favor. But the AFC East will be on the line in that final game of the season on January 7th on NBC. This is going to be a hell of an epic final week. But right now, that's my recap of Week 17. It was amazing, especially for this Packers fan. If you're on, if you like this video, click like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. If you want more, if you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. My story on Week 17 will be featured, so check it out when you can, and I'll be back to map out the final scenarios of the season. So stay tuned.